Hello once again, people, and welcome to yet another episode of Seeking Shamblers. This time around we're going to be checking out something apparently called CZ Quake Textures Volume 1. Basically what this is it's a level made by Wawa, but it's also a batch of custom textures designed to decorate your Quake levels. Basically there's going to be 14 different textures. It will include woods, marbles, tiles, and whatnot. So, needless to say, the biggest feature here is really the custom textures. I think this is actually the first level in Seeking Shamblers we've seen custom textures. Custom textures aren't that big of a deal. We've seen them in, basically every commercial product, because in order for a commercial product to really be sold the way it was, it usually had to have like its own texture set. So every single commercial add-on has had its own set of textures. It's not really that big of a thing to have different textures in a level. But this is a bit different because it is a level you could get online, which is something we haven't seen before. Now, the one thing that stinks about this level in particular is its timestamp is a bit messed up. Basically, the way this particular pack has been archived does not, provide good timestamps. Like, when I did the Aftershock toolbox or whatnot, a lot of it was stored inside of zip files. What that basically ensured was that the original timestamps were preserved. That we had the original dates of files, we knew exactly when things were made. It kind of gave a nice, good clarity to it all. The problem with this particular one, right now I'm kind of looking at, Quake'em, but it has, a lot of other things besides Quake on there, so even though it's named that, it's not really, it's not like the Aftershock toolbox or anything like that, which is, an actual pack. Plus, it's all just random custom files you can find on the internet anyway. But yeah, like I was saying, a lot of these files, the problem with them is I just don't have good timestamps. I don't have any timestamps that feel actually relevant. So while we're kind of seeing the levels, they're kind of just there. It's like they're there, but they're not, because I don't really, consider the endeavor fully done, a level fully out, peace of mind, until we actually get, a good date on it. And sadly, like I said, well, the Aftershock toolbox kind of provided that a little bit for us. We're not really going to be getting that with this particular pack, which I'm going to be living on for a little while. This one's rather big, so kind of like the Aftershock toolbox, I'm going to be living here for quite a while. But yeah, this particular one doesn't exactly help me. It is rather, like I said, the timestamps just not really good or anything like that. Anyway, the actual name of the level is going to be Texture Demo 1. And apparently, we're going to be using the debug theme. As weird as that sounds, that's the name of the level theme, apparently. Usually I go by, what the WAD file is that was used as, a reference, and it was debug that was used here. So, yeah, it's the debug theme, everybody! 14 random textures. I have no idea if they were ever used again. And it essentially what is a test level. This is basically just a level designed to demonstrate the various textures that this guy has created using Quake Studio Point 7, the Texture Workshop, Corel Texture, and QBSP. I think maybe Quake Studio, I'm not sure, is Quake Studio a level editor? I kind of forget. I want to say it is, but I'm not 100% sure. It might just be some type of photo editor or something like that. As said, that really seems like the priority. It could just kind of been something made quickly with QBSP, and so there's really not much more to it. But yeah, it's rather a unexciting level, I guess you could say. It's kind of just a level that's there. It's another test level. We've seen a bunch of test levels. The Aftershock toolbox was pervaded with them, and we get another one here. Like I said, it's a bit different this time. As I said, we haven't really seen one that represents custom textures in any way. But like I said, what's really bugging me to no end is the lack of any sort of timestamp. As I said, that really is going to drive me to no end. And I'm trying to look, I'm not really seeing anything that like represents like Quake Studio. So I'm not really sure if that's a particular editor. Oh wait, never mind. Actually, I have found Quake Studio. It was created by Dalius, and we saw it for the Water Pit. That was the only level that ever used some Quake Studio. But yep, the Quake Studio was an editor, a very, very obscure editor that barely anyone ever touched. But it was used for this level as well. So yeah, hooray! We're actually seeing a level made with a very obscure editor. Yeah, one of the most obscure editors out of all of them. This is kind of what is the interesting part about digging up old history. You end up finding, like, editors that barely anyone would know about, and then you find the relevance by the particular levels that were made with them. Anyway, while this is a custom level, it's not actually created from scratch. If you happen to remember the Aftershock toolbots, because I don't believe this is coming to us from what we've seen in Secret Shamblers, we had Tele-X for Quake. We have seen flooded Tele-X on the Aftershock, on the Secret Shamblers thing, but as for Tele-X Quake itself, we have yet to see it. Really, the only big difference was flooded Tele-X really had water, of course. It was more of like a water-based environment. Didn't have like the air of the original map. I'm not sure which one it was. It was like two different versions of Tele-X. One of them had like Tele-X, and the other one had like some other weird name. I forget God's name, what that name was. But yeah, needless to say, not really good, because we haven't seen like the original Tele-X, sadly. As I said, it was a level that did exist, and I have seen it on Aftershock itself, which does mean that it does exist. All the levels that were Aftershock standalones do exist as regular levels, even if I haven't seen the original levels with the regular textures. Still hunting for all those. We'll dig for those and hunt for those and try and find them as I see them. But anyway, this is our first custom texture wad for Quake. The zip file includes, sadly there's no zip file. If there was a zip file, life would be a lot simpler. Anyway, basically, yeah, we're going to have our 14 textures and a hacked version of Tele-X. That's all this really is Tele-X with some different textures that will allow us to check out textures. As I said, it's really just a test map. That's all the really point of this is. It's just to show off 14 different textures in Volume 1 of this texture-based thing. Anyway, all you really do to like view the different textures in the WAD is like start up CZTex1, which is the file name, and then you basically just walk around. And you also get the map source in order to see how to use the textures. You get also the ability to see what they look like in various lighting conditions. And yeah, each texture is present on some floor, wall, or object. It's meant as a walkthrough index, but hey, frag away. So, needless to say, you can use this as a deathmatch. It's still the original Tele-X as we've known it. It's Tele-X with slightly different textures, as said. It has the variation of Tele-X that you'd see in like the Aftershock toolbots. Maybe a bit more variety, but needless to say, really, beyond the intention being different, that level was still designed to still be Tele-X Quake. This is made to be a bit of a different level, even if it's the same level. So needless to say, this is a separate one, but it's the same one. So needless to say, all I really need to do is copy and paste the walkthrough and say it's a different level. It kind of is annoying when that happens, but it is considered its own separate thing. It's not the same a level because of its whole mindset. It's separate, it's different, and therefore we need to treat it as such. So, with that in mind, any Quake level editor will allow you to specify textures by names for brushes. So, yeah, it basically goes from 0 through 13. We have a bunch of different textures to check out. He kind of describes them. I don't really care too much about that. Well, I guess we'll just kind of see what they are in there. but at least it's kind of useful, I guess, for like explaining like maybe what they are, if anyone ever has any questions what in particular they are. Of course, he adds a lot of question marks, which says he doesn't even know what they are himself. That's not really promising. Anyway, all textures are about 128 by 128, which is apparently way too big. As soon as I fix a limitation in the texture workshop, I'll make a version with smaller textures. So basically, there's also a bit of a problem where they can get very grainy at a small size. So he's going to work on the dithering. We don't really care about that. That all has to do with the textures. And I'm not really too concerned about texture variety all that. Really, what I'm caring about is looking around a hacked version of Tele-X and seeing custom textures. Yeah, not exactly the biggest and most exciting of things in the world, but it kind of is. Like I said, it is, but it isn't. It's just a curious little entity that's like a little weird oddity, I guess you could say, during this period of time. And it definitely will be curious going forward if these 13 textures, I guess actually it'd be 14 textures, if these 14 textures were ever used anywhere. As said, we're getting 14 new custom textures. Are they going to be used to like the commercial add-ons? That would actually be hilarious if like Dark Hour or Q2 or one of these packs actually just ripped them from here. That would be absolutely hilarious, actually, to find out that it came not from anyone doing any art, but someone just basically ripping them from another person. That would be like the ultimate thing, I think. Anyway, it's made by Walla, aka Brian Gibson Winger. Yeah, Winger with a G, with an E at the end for some awkward reason. Anyway, he gives his website, which we don't care about because the website's probably dead. Let's see here. I think we're good to go, but let's just check the DOSBots config because I don't trust it, and I was not. Yeah, I had set completely wrong. Thank God that I looked. Because this is why I hate bloody DOSBots, because nothing is ever bloody set because I'm always trying to do different things. So, okay, this should work fine. Let's see here. Do you see it's a standard game? Not really a big problem. And here we are in my Funnies Map Quakerama www massive website name that's really horrible. We don't care about that. We care about going to, what in God's name is the name of the level again? CZ Tets 1. Yeah, like I said, sometimes these names can be like trying to remember phone numbers or something. It's rather weird. CZ Tech 1. Oh wait, no, CZ Tets 1. So that's the thing, if you don't remember exact, it's like you don't get it. It'd be nice if there was some way to see what levels you had. That would really help with navigate around. Anyway, it's Tele-X Quake again! But if you notice, it's really strange. There's all these textures everywhere. All these different textures, and why does it feel like these are Q2 textures? For the love of God, is that a Q2 texture? I think that's a Q2 texture, everybody. Oh my God, please don't tell me. Please don't tell me, for the love of God. This is gonna be hilarious. Like I said, I'm gonna have to like rip up the texture pack afterwards, see like exactly the coloration of it, see the scale, all that, see if they changed anything at all between the two versions. But yeah, lots of textures everywhere. It's kind of hard to really like point out one particular texture. I'm not really one to like point out textures. Normally be like, oh look at texture. It's kind of like they're everywhere. But yeah, it's Tele-X Quake. Wait a minute, what the? This is different. I spawned up here. Normally when you drop into those, you spawn down there. So that's rather curious. And also, there wasn't anything, no, there was a grenade launcher in the center. Never mind! There was something in the center, but at the same time, the teleports... One of them at least led to the top. That was really curious. I got to, like, the top. Yeah, this particular one, it gets you to the top. The other ones seem fine, but that particular one is bugged. That one actually gets you to the top of the level, which you couldn't get in the regular version of Tele-X Quake. A bit of a difference, everybody, for Texture Demo 1. Which, like I said, you can play like Tele-X. It's Tele-X with a fancy new texturization. it really isn't too big of a deal gameplay-wise. You're going to just like ignore that probably. I guess it matters if you want to teleport to a roof or not. So anyway, super nail guns, rocket launchers. It's probably symmetrical on all the sides like regular Tele-X would be. Let's see here. There's some more of this garbage. See, I swear, like, in particular this texture. This texture looks like something that came right out of Q2. I swear this is like one of the main textures that Q2 used. The other ones, I'm not so sure. They look like they could be something, but I don't recall them exactly. Like these blue textures, the wood textures. All these textures look like they kind of resemble stuff we've seen in Quake, but at the same time they feel different. They don't feel like exact similarities. This wall is going to drive me on my wall because it feels like it comes from Q2. I swear I've seen that texture to death. So, like I said, I really want to see if that's actually what they did. Rip it from this particular texture pack. If they did, that'll be absolutely hilarious. That's going to be like the finishing blow for Q2. To find out they actually stole a texture from Texture Demo 1. A random level that was created on the internet, and they tried to charge people money for it. That would be hilarious. But yeah, as you see, everywhere is just super nail guns and rocket launchers. Not exactly the most exciting levels. It never was to begin with. It had more historical value than actually any sort of like real relevance. It's a one-room map, not really that exciting or that amazing because of that nature. I said here's like the double-barreled shotgun, this weird little lockup down here. And I believe that's pretty much all there is to this level. There's a random torch for some reason on the ground. Not really sure why that's there. But yeah, you basically just use the 4 teleporters on the ground and you teleport to different sides. So you see, there's that one, which teleports you up to the top. Which is really, really weird. Let's see here. So there's that. That one worked perfectly fine. We want to base it off of... It's also really dark in these outcomes. Like, I think it's darker than normal, Tele-X. Tele-X normally wasn't this dark, if I recall. Maybe it's just because of how the textures are designed, though. That could always be a case, because I think the way the textures look changes pretty much how well things are going to look in the map. So yeah, it sometimes looks like water if you look at it quickly. Just like there's that weird slime texture. I'm not even sure if there's 13 textures or whatnot. It's kind of hard to count them all. Like, there's some thrown underneath. They're thrown on all random corners. There's that one which teleports you up there. I said, there's kind of like a couple that are, like, bugged. Let's see here. There's this window from here. You come up here. This one's the bugged one. So I want to go 2 away from the window. Let's see here. Where's the window? And then I want to go counterclockwise to this one. Is this one bugged? No, it's not. And it probably works exactly the same as I'm used to. Like, that leads here. That actually makes perfect sense. If I do that one, it's going to lead there. So, like, this is the window here. No. Huh. Okay. Wait a minute. No. I think I understand. Or not. I think I'm facing backwards. That's it. I'm facing backwards from how I normally should be facing. So, like... Well, this one kind of messes me up. But I think it's the same idea. So, like... I'm very, very confused. Yeah, it's a bit more confusing than normal Tele-X Quake was. So, like, we say this one is looking this particular way. You have that window over on that wall. This is like the back wall here. If you teleport here, you should be facing... Normally you'd be facing that way, but I think you're gonna flip. I think it's like inverse from normal Tele-X. So like, you're flipping this way. If you flip this way, you're facing this wall, and then you want to turn left. Or right. I'm very, very confused. I'm going to need to look into this and try and document out how exactly the order works. It's a bit different than normal Tele-X though. It's a bit more confusing. You know, I could understand Tele-X's order very, very quickly. I'm kind of the one who explained that quickly. Very, very simple, very straightforward. This one's not so simple in its logic. It's very confusing. Like, if you say, where is the window? Maybe the interior ones will work better? I'm not sure. Let's see, let's find the interior. If I drop in this one, it should teleport me where? That didn't help me at all. That made things more confusing. But yeah, I think it's like if you drop here, you should be facing the window. Except I'm facing over here. Yeah, I have to remember what the original rule for Tele-X is. Maybe I have that wrong. I don't think I do, though. I think it really is a case of the teleportation's just really funky for some reason. I don't know why in God's name they changed all that. It feels rather weird that you would come in here, you would edit the textures, and then you'd make the level rather weird in its teleportation system. Like, the other one at least made sense. I'm not sure I can rationalize this one out. Like I said, I'm going to have to try and figure out where in particular each one goes from each other. And then, like I said, we have that one on each one, the interior and exterior, that also lead to the upper structure, which is something that never happened in the original Tele-X version. So needless to say, a 5th version of Tele-X, what the world never needed, everybody. A 5th freaking version of this one level, but with a bit of a different twist here. Something that's very curious and different. And it's a very different formula. Like I said, it's all for these custom textures, which, like I said, this texture in particular is going to drive me crazy. I really wonder, is it from Q-Test? I guess I'll have to look in and find out. Thank you all for watching. It's been the adventure. I guess I shall see you all, well, next time.